in the natural state of the lane, 1v1, 2v2, or whatever, it meant it was free for the enemy team to put more focus on Jensen, who's always been more of a resource-intensive player, and it just was a recipe for disaster.
Oh my god, the first 30-year-old to ever lock in a champion in the LCS.
And it's Milio. This is gonna be a good one, Isaac. We've got the Maokai, the Vi, Nico, Kindred, a lot of jungle focus in the bans here, along with the Yuumi and the Lucian. Dignitas going to lock in MSI's favorite champion in Jinx, and the Annie right next to it.
I might get Jinx Aphelios. Aphelios has been ridiculously popular in pro play. It is the most picked by far in pro play on 13-11, so it's going to get locked in. Ahri getting blocked in as well. We'll have to see. You know, this is, very MSI-esque with Aphelios, Jinx bot lane, Annie, Ahri mid. Milio, of course, was not enabled on that patch, but is very, very strong. Jinx Lulu. Yeah, so we're right back to MSI, baby.
I'm back in London. My allergies are going crazy, and my sleep schedule is all messed up, and I'm having a great time.
Toast?
Yeah, beans on toast. I ate beans.
Did you eat beans on toast?
I ate a massive pile of beans on top of 4 hash browns for breakfast every morning. That was my plan.
The London experience.
Yeah, I had a great time. But yeah, Jinx Lulu, the MSI special locked in. Now we do have our bottom lanes and supports. We do have our mid laners here on both teams. It means it's time to ban top lane and jungle. That jungle pool has already been pressured pretty heavily in the first half of the draft. We'll see if they want to continue looking there. Dignitas obviously more concerned about the state of the solo lanes. Cassante getting banned away.
Yeah, going to be focusing a little bit on those solo lanes. Obviously, Solo has been known so much throughout his career as a weak side guy. He really focuses on the tanks. That is kind of his bread and butter. So I wouldn't be shocked, especially if Dignitas want to counterpick top, then just ban out some more safe blinds. Ban out like an Orm, ban out a Sion, ban out that kind of stuff from Solo, and try to see if Rich can create any sort of advantage there. Rich, has been known to play some carries, definitely in the top lane. His most played all time is actually the Aatrox. It's Gnar, Aatrox, Jace are his top 3, but he has Kennen, Gragas, and so on in there. He has played a lot of different champions throughout his career, so would be interesting to see, if for his debut game in the LCS, they want to try to play towards top. They want to try to give him that counter pick and see what he can get done against Solo, who I think is a really good test for anyone coming into the LCS, because this guy is LCS caliber, has been for years and years and years. He's rock solid. He's played across so many different teams, and you kind of know what you're going to get from Solo. He's really, really consistent. So, if Rich can counterpick on 5, if he can actually get something going up in that top lane, could spell really good things for him in this league.
Well, the last 2 bans are going to be junglers again instead of the top laners. Wukong banned out, Nocturne banned away, and Rek'Sai locked in for Santorin in the jungle, a champion we have not been seeing a lot of super recently. So Dignitas goes with some pretty expected meta stuff from the last time we were watching some pro League of Legends, internationally at least, and then they throw the Rek'Sai in with it.
Yeah, the Rek'Sai is going to be really interesting. I know there also has been some spice recently where people are playing Rek'Sai in solo lanes. I've seen a little bit of Rek'Sai mid. I've seen a little bit of Rek'Sai top. I'm not expecting it.
Okay.
But I'm just throwing it out there.
A little asterisk saying maybe, just maybe.
Maybe, just maybe. But there are a lot of different builds, for Rek'Sai, on this patch. People are still mostly going Stridebreaker, but there's quite a bit of lethality Rek'Sai. I've even seen Gale Force Rek'Sai in solo queue. So there's a lot of different builds that you can do. I don't think so either. But I think it's kind of a fun champion right now because it actually does have a lot of flexibility, and it's a lot of different items that actually all have good win rates. Like all these different things have like 54, 55% win rate. So it's actually really good in solo queue and really, really flexible. You can build a lot of different stuff.
I mean, Stridebreaker, I'm totally expecting. If we get Gale Force Rek'Sai, I will take off my boot and drink an entire Red Bull from it on the stream.
Wait, can I message Santorin? There ain't no way. And I'm with you. I'm with you. But I do think Stridebreaker is definitely, that's the most likely. But I wouldn't be shocked to see lethality, because there actually is a lot of lethality builds for it in solo queue as well. And a lot of people who are really trying to super index in towards early game dominance do like going for those lethality builds, because you can, if you get ahead of the pace of the game, you can solo out some of these carries, right? You can have that potential to actually, just dive in, 100-0 a carry, or at least push them completely out of the fight and create space for your team. So I do think it's a viable way to play. If I had to expect it, because it's what we almost get in pro play, it's probably just like Stridebreaker tank or whatever. But, but I would be excited to see some of the different builds coming out. And it is going to be a counter pick here for Rich. So he goes Jax on 5. it is the Sion. I would love to see something like Sion banned out potentially instead of that Nocturne, but obviously they're more concerned about Kenvi's jungle picks being carry style. That's kind of where Immortals won all their games. I think they only won last split when he was playing Kindred, Graves, those types of champions where he can really be aggressive. So that's really his bread and butter.
And I know talking to, Rafa and Cubby and a lot of the guys who cast 2 big dudes to protect you, 1 little dude to give you some buffs, you're doing great.
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, it kind of sucks for Kenvi because Kindred is actually super strong right now and totally meta, but even last split, because of kind of the respect that he was given from scrims, Kindred was the most banned champion against Immortals in spring, right? And now it's way more powerful. So he's probably never going to get it. It's just going to be banned against him almost every single time. So that is kind of what he has to deal with, unfortunately. It is, that 20 KDA on the Kindred in spring.
Yes, not only was Solo the first 30-year-old player to lock in a champion.
When you're 30, no more Jax. It's
right.
Sion only.
Yeah, Sion playing very good. Yeah. Well done.
It's actually a nice feature of the client. Once I hit 30 myself, as the champions stop showing up in Champ Select, if for some reason I go on, there's only Maokai, Sion, Ornn.
I mean, I've been playing Skarner for years, so I'm having a great time.
That's still available. That's in there.
Yeah, I know.
You can play that at 60.
It's fantastic.
You just have to press Q.
Well, Immortals are going to start their jungler up here on the top side with the blue, just making sure that Rich doesn't show up, try to interfere with anything. Now Solo can walk his way up to the lane. We're not going to get any of those level 1 Sion shenanigans that we saw so much of during MSI.
And that was much more of a red side strat anyway. Yeah. So I wasn't expecting that to come in, but it was something that was really cool with the champion. The level 1s can be really, really interesting from Sion. And I'm just excited to see what Rich is really going to show us. He's kind of the biggest question mark for me, with this new team, because Arma had some really good games, but overall, wasn't, I think, at the level that people were kind of hoping for. If you were a Dignitas fan. I think Jensen still was solid in spring. They didn't get a lot of wins, but Jensen was pretty solid. And I would say Santorin's early games were still really good. So there were some bright spots. There were some clear bright spots for Dignitas in spring, but they very rarely were able to kind of turn it into much. Santorin would often have a good early pathing, get a couple kills, and then everything would kind of fall apart.
I mean, it goes back to what you were saying in draft, and that's that Spawn had a bad split, right? And you're talking about a meta game and a game state in League of Legends that was incredibly AD carry focused. And if the AD carry's not going to bring that firepower in your skirmishes and your team fights, it's harder to deal with. Kenvi grabs his red buff. Santorin shows up, but the Sejuani has already moved away.
Yeah. Wanted to check on Raptors there. He saw that Sejuani went by with his passive, but obviously used the E. So seeing if he could actually snipe anything out with his Burrow Q, not going to be able to get it, so it's just going to be right back. Nice little attempt at the invade, but does mean that Sejuani is going to be quite a bit ahead of the pace of the game right now. Got those extra 2 camps, is going to be back to base, and likely just head out towards top, grab topside scuttle, and then retreat back towards the Grom potentially. So we'll see exactly what he wants to get done. Santorin on that 4th camp right now. And, have to really track what this Rek'Sai can get done, because Rek'Sai has not really changed that much since we've seen it. Prowler's Claw is obviously gone. That is something that a lot of people really liked. Oh,
nicely done. This man's farming achievements here today.
Not only can he pick the champion, he got another.
Beautifully done. This is your classic Sion gameplay. But Dignitas, once again, still just trying to find some success in these side lanes in a way that they weren't getting
Watch out,
much
Solo.
of. Solo? You all right, buddy? Okay, we're cool. Kenvi's coming to help.
Yep, Kenvi's coming to help. Gonna be able to push. Oh, nice little side step from Rich.
Yeah.
Gonna be able to smack the pig on the butt and then get out of there. Should be able to push this in, no problem. Will this be the first 30-year-old to base in the LCS?
I think
he's pressing B.
Now,
yeah, I think he's gonna do it.
Hold on, he's still walking.
Oh!
There we go.
Look at him go.
Nicely done.
Yep. Has a CS advantage as well. These are just dubs.
Well, now Rich will be able to pick that one up. Solo's back at the base, has that first purchase.
What's the purchase?
Completed.
A ruby crystal and boots. Feels like 30.
Yeah. I understand. We've got a pretty even game state here early on, 5 minutes in. Nobody's really got a whole lot accomplished super early on. And I mean, if I'm Kenvi, I'm okay with that. Because when you're playing up against Rek'Sai, I kind of give Rek'Sai the same sort of treatment that I give a champion like Lee Sin or Nidalee. And that's that if you get to level 7 and your score is 0-0 and 0, I feel like there had to have been a missed opportunity somewhere, even if that opportunity was in the draft to pick something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely gonna have some regrets if you get into that situation. I will say, at least in for me always feels like a little bit different because there's always that playmaking potential. Rek'Sai doesn't really have that, you know? Like, there is the potential maybe dive into the back line and zero someone out, but it's like, generally Rek'Sai can only do that from ahead of the pace of the game. So to your point, you kind of need to have had that early action, you know, farmed up some kills, really get to a strong point. But, you know, there has been good vision control so far. You can see pinks on both sides of mid lane. Santorin, you know, did clear out that one war, but there's still pinks and pickle. And Bolulu is playing very respectfully, playing very far back. You know, is not going to be falling prey to this gank.
And you could see Santorin was looking for that gank because even though Jensen was level 5 when he showed up, Jensen only needed 2 minions to get the EXP for level 6. So they were hoping maybe they could just get the surprise attack there on Bolulu, an instant Annie level up into a flash Tibbers, into a follow-up from Rek'Sai, but it doesn't happen. And Santorin will now aggro the Drake, but there is a ward on it from the side of IMT.
It is spotted, but they have push in bot, and they do have first 6 in mid, so we'll see. You know, Kenvi could potentially come over here and harass, but I don't think he's going to mess with it. Well, he's just going to look for bot instead.
Wants to go for the play on the enemy duo. Tomo just trying to walk this one off. It at least gives Tactical the opportunity to pour a lot of damage into Tomo. Flash from the Jinx, heal from the Lulu, both forced there.
And this is great. I mean, Treatz actually trades out his sums, but he gets flash off enemy bot laner. And because they went so aggressive on that gank, that gets them access to the river. So I actually think it's much smarter that Kenvi attacks bot lane in the 3v2 before walking into the river. If he just goes straight into the river, the enemy bot could actually collapse on him, and he could be the one in trouble. So he ganks bot, they force out Jinx sums, they push them back, and then they grab the dragon off that. Potentially even going to grab a play. At the very least, he's going to grab some Spell Thieves Gold and then just base.
And I mean, that's good heads up, recognizing, hey, it's level 5 Rek'Sai with a pickaxe. It's still a 5,000 health dragon. I've got time, right? It's 20 seconds before he can kill this thing. So let's go make a different play. I like that. Immortals is rewarded for that. Oh, no. And now we've paused that.
Santorin was the one who paused.
Well, we'll see what's happening. Things that confuse me the most, and I never know what people are talking about, is keyboards. No, keyboards and Magic the Gathering. Oh. Because I never know what either of those things are when people talk about them in detail. But apparently it's real, and apparently we're back into the game. No more pause. So let's see where we can go from here. Immortals, remember, they just got that first Drake. It was Dignitas starting it up, but Immortals taking control over the river in time to then steal that objective out. Feels pretty good. And hey, for Kenvi, like we already talked on a little bit here, things are moving forward at a nice, calm pace, exactly where Sejuani wants to be.
Iron Spike Whip, so is going to be not a lethality build here.
I mean, honestly, I like Stridebreaker. It's a pretty chat item.
Stridebreaker's pretty cool. It's a fun item.
You get damage. You get to press another button to deal damage.
That's true. Do you think we're going to get Stridebreaker in a tank? That's what I kind of expect.
Yeah, probably.
I would say it's like the norm for competitive.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see, you know, if they can actually make anything happen with Santorin at 6 and Jensen at 6. I think they want to try to start making something happen, you know, whether they're looking at a Herald play or whatever. A lot of these wards have been actually paying dividends. Nice sidestep there from Diamond.
Yep. Tactical and Treatz, remember, these guys used to play together a long, long time ago. I believe it was back on TSM Academy.
Yeah.
You saw them all duoed up. That was, as the lounge commented, that was back when Treatz wasn't here in person, had to play remotely, so we just had a cardboard cutout of him. At least the boys can sit next to each other and play the game now. The Dignitas going after the Herald as Kenvi looks for a setup here. Might just be able to go over the wall, force the dive with the wave about to crash in. Immortals knows that their opponents are backing away. They don't want to allow them to get all the way out. They force the flash. Nice prediction from Kenvi, locking Diamond down. But they don't want to keep this chase going any further. Instead, they're just going to continue to push out that next wave, choke Dignitas out of a lot of EXP and gold here with the wave crashing into the turret, and pick up some bonus gold of their own, getting those plates. Second plate should drop here before the wave does.
Yeah, really nicely done. Just going to be able to actually force that flash, get a couple plates here, denying some minions as well. Diggs bot lane will walk back up now that they know Kenvi's not exactly in the area, and Santorin is coming down to cover. But it's a great play from Kenvi. He only expends the ultimate, gets a flash out of there, and now he's going to be heading over towards mid as in comes Solo.
Jensen already flashed away, and it's an Immortals party here in mid lane. They even getting the money on Bolulu. It's first blood to Immortals, and Solo is the first 30-year-old player with an assist in the LCS.
Players over 30 in the LCS, 100% success rate on roams.
You love to see it. You love to hear it. Solo and Immortals off to a good start.
Incredible stuff here from Solo.
Let's see it again.
Yeah, well, yeah, we gotta watch it again. Why are we showing this? Highlight to Sion. Look at him go. Who knew a 30-year-old could move that fast?
Come on.
I mean, I'm roasting myself. I'm older.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. All right.
Yeah. If I wasn't 30, you know, then maybe I couldn't do it.
Well, we do have 400 stacks also on that Sion there. You can see the Soul Furnace. I love this addition to our UI with champions that build stacks.
Yep.
Being able to track them at all points in the game and just know exactly where you're at.
Number go up.
Yup, number go up, brain make good chemical. Yeah. And that's what's going on up there for Immortals. That Sion getting nice and tanky. We love this champion when we draft it on any team to see it just become that impenetrable wall of health, especially like I said earlier, when you've got this Aphelios in the bottom lane. This is the game plan. Just move forward. They can't fight you front to back. There's no way. Keep tactical protected.
Do you ever sometimes kind of int because you want the number to go up though? Because sometimes I'm playing grass.
Death number?
No. Like, you know, I'm playing like grass. I'm like, ooh, it's probably be a really bad trade, but I could proc grass spear.
Oh, yeah. No, I do that all the time. Yeah. It's especially the number that I want to go up is damage done to champions at the end of the game. So it's like, well, there's obviously no reason to participate in PvP.
But there are 4 people like a queue here.
Yes, there's a lot of bad guys on my screen, and I need to get rid of them. So I'm definitely with you in that one. Ooh, Santorin actually has a lot of Rek'Sai games in his career. 41 games, 20 wins, and 21 losses. So looking at even
I'm willing to bet that this is almost all in the super old Rek'Sai, though, where we actually had AoE knockup. You remember when it first came in?
AoE knockup, and you could teleport around the map with your ult?
Everyone played full tank Rek'Sai, and it was the farm alarm out from base, and it was just like flash AoE knockups over and over and over. And we haven't really seen that much Rek'Sai anymore in competitive ever since they made it. So the knockup was just that one target. So it's kind of fun to see it back in. But, you know, so far, this warding around mid has kept them totally safe. And it's just going to be the ulti getting dropped, you know, looking for that trade, but they're going to try to turn around.
Oh, my God. Kenvi shows up. Dignitas. They thought they had the man advantage, but Immortals is ready to match, making a 2-0 lead for IMT.
Nicely done. Yeah, Jensen didn't have his flash available there. He goes in for the early trade. Does get a bit of a chunk on Bolulu, but Bolulu had his jungler there, so they just turn it around. And Dignitas has been trying to force around mid lane so heavily, but every single time it's warded out, so it's becoming very, very predictable. And this time they get punished really, really heavily here, as not only does Jensen go down, but Santorin loses his flash there, and it's only ultimate spent on the other side, and you're going to lose Dragon.
And meanwhile, Solo up here, you pointed out how this guy, he's perma weak side and he knows how to play it. That's fine. Everything's happening around the rest of the map. He doesn't care. He's farming up on Sion, and that's all he needs to do. Herald has dropped. The 2 plates are claimed, but it's still a 2,000 gold lead for Immortals. They've nearly taken the entirety of the first turret here in the bottom lane. The Aphelios and Milio crushing the Jinx Lulu, in part thanks to the presence from Kenvi.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, making things happen down on that bot side, creating an advantage. And, you know, Milio, it really does kind of change the way that some of these matchups work because of the added range. It's such a unique stat because there's not a lot of champs that can actually buff their range, right? You know, there's like Kindred stacks and there's like Kayle scaling and things like that. Tristana, obviously, you know, with the passive, there's Gnar and mini form. There's a few different things, but range is such a powerful stat. I think that range is actually like the most powerful stat in League of Legends. And when you're fighting against someone like Aphelios, you know, you're used to taking trades in a certain way, but all of a sudden, a sniper Aphelios with Cozy Campfire just, you know, is auto-spacing you in a way that you're not actually used to, and you have to really totally change how you play.
Range is one of those stats, I put it in the same category as movement speed, where if you see an adjustment to it in the patch notes, that is an extreme adjustment. Even if the number itself is small, like originally one of the biggest nerfs to Lucian, back when he had 550 auto attack range like everybody else, they had to knock it down to 500 because he was just way too strong like that, right? When you see some old melee champions going from 128 to the more modern 175 for bruisers, it's a big deal. Attack range can seriously make a difference in so many of these trades. And like you said, because it's still a new champion, because it's still something that hasn't been in the game that long, people aren't used to playing around the adjusted Milio pattern, and you can get a lot of cheap shots in.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and it's the passive makes it so powerful as well, right? Because it's not just this added range. You're actually getting procs of the passive, so you can get multiple hits of that bonus magic damage that comes through the passive. So it's healing you up, it's giving you range, it's giving you damage, kind of everything in one. And now Tomo.
Oh, lockdown. There's the follow-up stun. Tomo waits on the cleanse. Kenvi still looking for the dive here. Nice flash from Tomo. The reaction will keep him alive. If that connected, Tactical would have been ready to follow up with a Moonlight Vigil, and that could have been a serious problem. Dignitas, though, they continue to always be the ones reacting to every play, as Immortals are the ones making every move.
I mean, Kenvi is having a really good game quietly, it feels like there. And I'm not sure if he had the timer exactly right, but it looked like he forced the cleanse, and then he was trying to wait out the reduced CC with the cleanse, which lasts, I think, I don't know, 3 seconds or so.
I believe that's correct.
So he was trying to wait that out, then throw the ulti, which actually forced the flash. So we'll see. Santorin moving in here. Rich has TP'd in, but there's more Immortals members in the area right now.
They brought in everybody. It's a 5-man squad from Immortals. Rich here on the front. Remember, there's no ulti available for Sejuani. Rich has found himself in the middle of everyone. Super Mega Death Rocket over the wall, but IMT claims the Herald. Now they got to be careful because Santorin's already dead. Tactical taking the kill as Dignitas retreat. Follow-up. Flash is all ready to go, and a double kill for Aphelios. Immortals is loving how this one is going. This squad is looking good here in the first 15 minutes of the game.
Yeah, Immortals are looking really good, and the kills are going exactly where you would want them. 2 kills on the Ahri and 2 kills on Tactical's Aphelios, who is rushing that Storm Razor, which is just even more move speed added in here. You get that proc, you get the move speed, you get the move speed from the Milio shield as well, which is going to be feeling really, really nice. So it makes it so difficult to actually chase down and even get away in these situations. You know, Rich going in early with a pretty big counter-strike, but look where Tomo is, right? It's just way too early. Sure, you hit a counter-strike on multiple members, you throw out the ult, but Jinx is not in the fight. Yeah, Jinx can contribute the ulti, but you're never really going to win from this position. So Santorin's going in deep, and still, Tomo's not even close, right? Like, they're just not on the same page. If everyone wanted to take the fight and it was Tomo's mistake that he wasn't there, you kind of have to just accept that, take the L, and just say, hey, we can't actually do it. Gotta have to back off here. But in this case, Jensen gonna die again, just no flash.
Yeah, slowed up, tagged up by everybody. Immortals, man, they're doing so good. It's just impressive to see. This is kind of what we talked about, wanting to see from everybody coming into summer, especially with the late start, is how ready are you? How much have you been making use of this practice time? And Immortals are seeming pretty well practiced. They aren't even done yet. They continue looking for a little bit more as Diamond uses the wild growth on himself in order to stay alive. Tier 2 turret just drops.
Oh my God.
Tactical getting it done. Meanwhile, Solo up here in the top lane, the first 30-year-old to split push a Tier 2 turret in the LCS, continuing to apply global pressure.
Get you a man who can do both. He can tank it up, he can split push. Don't need no Jax.
He's being Jax better than Jax as Sion.
Yeah, it's looking good. I mean, Solo's being Solo up in the top lane. Tactical and Treatz were really doing well in the 2v2, and that advantage was kind of slammed home by Kenvi. You know, Santorin and Jensen were clearly, their game plan was to play around mid, right? And utilize the early power of that Annie, point and click stun up this Ahri, look for those ganks. But it didn't ever really happen because Immortals always had wards around mid lane, protecting Bolulu, and then once it was post 6, it was very difficult. Diamond does have flash, may have to use it.
Steps away from the Moonlight Vigil.
Nice sidestep.
Treatz wanted to get in there for the Ultra Mega Fire Kick, I think is the name. It's something absurd like that. It's Super Mega Death Rocket tier.
Ultra Mega Fire Kick. You actually I'm impressed.
Let's go.
What's the E?
The
Pop
E,
quiz.
The E is warm hugs.
Okay, nailed it. You're 2 for 2. You already know Cozy Campfire.
Yeah.
Do you know the ulti?
Breath of Life.
Okay. Do you know the passive? I don't even know if that's fair to ask.
Fired up, I think.
Oh my God! First 30-year-old to know.
Come on, man. Well, at least I beat Solo for one.
The brain's still there. Still got it.
I'm not entirely incompetent yet.
Not early onset Alzheimer's just yet.
Yeah, we're still even though I played Skarner, which has definitely slowed me down. We're in there, baby. We got 6,000 gold lead for Immortals. We've got a soul point game for Immortals. We've got all of this at 19 minutes into the game, Isaac. The only thing Dignitas have acquired for themselves so far in this game was the first Rift Herald. And yes, it did get them 2 plates in the top lane, but that's not nearly enough.
No, I thought you were going to say sadness or something like that.
No, I was being serious.
You know,
Well, I guess technically you were too, because right now it's a pretty sad state of affairs for Dig. It feels like we're not really anywhere that can be translated into something useful. I guess one thing you could look at is the deaths aren't on the Jinx, so you're still trying to farm up down there, get the Jinx to a point where she can carry. 0 and 4 on Jensen's Annie has been the target of so much here of what Immortals has been doing.
I mean, it's interesting, right? Because it was clearly the game plan of Dig to focus around mid-jungle and to put pressure on there, but the only aggressive flash that actually happened, like the flash was aggressive from Jensen, but that ended up kind of backfiring. And, you know, he has been in this kind of weird cycle where he used his flash aggressively one time, got killed because of it, and then just constantly getting pressured after that. So he's always having to defensively flash, and he's always missing that summoner and getting punished for it really, really heavily. So Immortals in a great spot. Jax has not been able to establish any sort of side lane dominance. You can see objective bounties has spawned, and Immortals are just going to straight up start the Baron. You have White Gun Aphelios. This is going to get shredded. Has been spotted here by Dig, though. We'll see if they can do anything about it.
Dignitas wants to challenge for this. Santorin is just immediately killed. The cutthroat gameplay of Immortals right here. They waste no time. As soon as Santorin is in range, they engage, and they guarantee themselves a 20-minute Baron now. Super Mega Death Rocket not doing a whole lot. Baron will go over to an Immortals squad that is playing some of the best damn League of Legends I've seen this team play in years.
Yeah, what a clean game. I mean, Immortals are looking incredibly good so far. They started up immediately, mid-jungle just go over the wall there. Kenvi nails the engage. The follow-up is there from the Ahri. Solo was even there for the TP flank if a fight actually broke out, but as soon as Santorin died, Dick said, never mind, we're just a prank, bro. Yeah. They just got right out of there. So now you're at soul point, you have Baron, you're up 7K, and it's 21 minutes in. This is looking amazing for Immortals, and we just have to see, can they cleanly close it out, right? Because we saw in that previous game, TL established amazing leads like this, but they really struggled to actually just quickly and cleanly close it out, and that's what I want to see from Immortals. That is the test for them now, because if they can do that, you can't really have a more impressive game one of the split.
And when I look at Dignitas and I look at the state of the game, one of the things I always like to consider is, okay, well, what would be a win condition? Split push Jax? Well, you already established he doesn't have control in the side lane. Jinx mega scaling? Unfortunately, still only at 1 completed item. Rek'Sai being ahead of the curve of the game? Not happening. It's hard to see any of these windows being open because Immortals have just slammed them all shut and locked Dignitas out.
Yeah, I mean, you want to say like Miracle engage from Annie or something like that, but as long as Milio doesn't get caught in it, Milio just ults that. Your AoE cleanse, right? You can actually just remove the stun. You can deny a lot of that potential pick and engage that has been drafted for on Dig's side. And you can see Dig struggling to even defend their inhibs at all here. This inhib bot lane is already gone. Mid lane's being pushed in, so they can just move around towards mid and try to push that up as well. But for now, it looks like they just want to go back, spend up all their gold. They do have quite a bit of gold in pocket. The team across the board probably sitting on about 4K, maybe 4.5 or 5K. And going to be getting ready for this dragon.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to point out, you saw that Diamond and Tomo had to retreat back into the fountain. Dignitas couldn't make any sort of a fight for that inhibitor. The damage that they took to take them both down to half HP was just the bonus Infernum damage and the punch through for having the blue gun. That's it. Aphelios attacking the turret and standing too close to the turret. But yeah, the Hex Soul spawning in under a minute now. Immortals wants to be ready for this. Everybody's going back and purchasing. Redemption now completed for Treatz. The support on Immortals has more completed items than the AD carry on Dignitas. Ooh. That's how you know the state of the game is dire for the side of Dig.
Never mind, it's great.
Okay.
Looking good.
All right, we're there. We're there. We got the Gale Force, but man, things would have to go just perfect. Just perfect for Dignitas to be able to stand a chance in these fights.
I mean, it would have to be big blunders, I think, from the Immortals side in positioning and also, you know, execution in that team fight. There's double stopwatch as well. Santorin going to be pushed back immediately.
Santorin. Tomo's the one who eats the Sejuani ulti there, willing to spend the cleanse to get away. Bolulu goes over the wall, wanted the flash charm. They could have hit Tomo there. It would have been an insta-kill. Rich was on the side, ready to join up, but the fight dissipates before then.
Yeah, no sums on Tomo is going to make this even more difficult for them to approach. It's a tough one to give over, though. Hextech is such a strong soul, but they don't really have any way in here. May just try to walk straight in and bully their way through, but man. Solo saying, you shall not pass.
It's not happening, man. Solo's ready to lead the charge as Rich tries to escape off to the left, but Immortals are already going to claim him. He tries to jump out, and for now he does. Tactical wants the chase. He fires the Q, but he will not connect. Kenvi still looking to stay hot on his heels here with the Arctic Assault. Rich will get out. Miraculously. Wait, maybe not.
Oh, the redemption.
The redemption from Treatz to guarantee the Jax can't escape. Rich, again, is it a guarantee? Sejuani doesn't do a lot of damage without hitting abilities. Kenvi still trying to chase this one. There it is. Takes him out. Rich falls 7-0 for Immortals. 8K gold lead. Hextech Soul in their pocket. Now let's just see how fast they can close it out. The first 2 games of the day both ended in under 30 minutes. With the advantage that Immortals has and the way they've been playing so far, you know they'd love to join the club.
Absolutely. They still have double stopwatch on their carries as well. They have this massive front line around them. Milio still has everything in a great ulti.
That was beautiful. Kenvi goes to the side because it looks like Santorin would have been the obvious target from where Sejuani was, but he throws that ult the other way, lands it for the immediate pick on Diamond. Nice stuff from Immortals. 2 inhibitors down in the enemy base now.
Yeah, beautifully done. And they have a good another 6K or so to actually spend up. So they're just going to base. They're going to spend that all up. Continue to complete all these items. You know, looking really, really good. You can see 3K between mid and jungle. There was another 2K on Kenvi. A couple hundred on top and support as well. So just going to be picking up everything that they can. Anathema's Chains makes a lot of sense. The only world in which this somehow is a comeback is a world in which Tomo, 1v9s, right?
Yeah.
So you grab the Anathema's Chains, you can kind of just walk at Jinx with that item up on him and really push him back in the fight, create space for your carries, make it a nightmare situation for Tomo, who still has no sums at this point. They're gonna have supers coming in, multiple waves. Rich is just trying to push out bot as far as he can before they have to come back and actually defend through topside, but it feels like an almost impossible task because there's not even really any deep wards that they could look for a TP on. Everything has really been cleared out pretty well. There's that one ward over by the red buff, but Immortals are really kind of checking all the boxes. Like, look at all the vision they have in the enemy jungle.
Immortals has been playing such a good game of League of Legends, and I want to go back to our expectations coming into this. It was 9th versus 10th, and Immortals are not looking like a 9th place team in this game. Santorin and Rich coming around from behind. Bolulu escapes back to the safety of the rest of the Immortals backline as Solo joins up with Kenvi, and they're ready to be that wall that Dignitas cannot punch through. Jensen with a flash back over the wall in the jungle to escape as Immortals still at full HP. The battery of healing that is Treatz doing a great job keeping them all topped off and protected. There goes the tier 3 turret. Final inhibitor in the Dignitas base is focused down next. Only one Nexus turret left, and it's got about 1 hit on it. Tactical can take that down with a single auto attack. There it goes. Only the Nexus stands. Rich at half HP. Dignitas have to make their final stand. Jensen at half, trying to hold these guys at bay as Immortals regroup and follow to protect Tactical. Santorin is dropped as Kenvi will finally be the first kill of the game for Dignitas. They pick up the enemy jungler, but it's still already a 2-for-1. They've lost their AD carry, and Dignitas are trapped in their own fountain. Solo's not going to let them away as Rich has to drop the counter-strike just to survive. Jensen continues falling back as Immortals continue pushing forward. 10-1, they get it done. Immortals started off with a win.
30-year-olds undefeated in the LCS. Solo first man over 30, picking up a win in the LCS. Immortals, that was an amazing game from them. They look so damn good here.